Hey, welcome back, guys. So if you recall, last time we were here on this 69 BSA Starfire, we checked out the electrics, we had spark, and with some starting fluid in the carburetor, I was able to get it to kick off. So it wants to run. I installed, the throttle cable was hanging up really bad and it was all frayed and stuff. I did install a new carburetor cable. I have to reroute this better, but for now it's installed. My main objective is I want the bike to run. Once I get the bike to run and I'm happy with how it sounds, I can proceed with finishing the bike up the way I want. I always like to restore a bike, if at all possible, which usually it is, by getting it mechanically to work. Once I'm sure the mechanics are good, then I go ahead and worry about putting it together, doing whatever cosmetics I want to do. Because last thing I like to do is get all the cosmetics done and then find out I got to rip it apart and rebuild the engine. So if I can get it to run, it sounds healthy and everything is good, then I can worry about putting cosmetics on it. So I hooked up the new throttle cable just a couple minutes ago. And now the throttle actuates and returns nicely. Okay, I put an initial adjustment on the carburetor. I like to turn in the throttle stop screw until it just touches the slide, and then one more turn. That usually gets you to a point of where it'll at least start. I didn't even mess with the idle mixture screw. It's at 1.5 turns out, and we'll adjust that once we get it running. I have my my IV pole set up with my auxiliary tank of fuel. So I got my fuel line running into my carburetor, and we're gonna go for broke here. We're gonna turn some gas on. We're going to tickle the carburetor, and we're gonna see how many times it'll take to get it to start. I'll be honest with you, I usually have pretty good luck with these. Once I get them to spit off starting fluid, you know, they usually start pretty easy. I mean, British bikes, contrary to what you may read about, are actually very reliable motorcycles. They're easy to work on. The biggest issue with British motorcycles, and it's not really confined to just British, is the things that previous owners have done to them. The hacks, the half fixes, the cobbled togetherness of them after 50 years, that's the biggest culprit to British bikes. If they're maintained and put together properly, they're actually very reliable. All right, so enough to do. So I'm gonna turn the gas on here, get that to flow into the carburetor a little bit. I hooked my test battery back up. Turn on my ignition here. All right, we got ignition. I'm gonna tickle it. We got some fuel coming out. And let's see what happens. Ooh. Hey, look at that, guys. First time in 15 or more years. Actually sounds pretty good. Idle's a little high, but that's okay. I just want to get it running. Even charging the battery according to the amp meter. That's pretty impressive. Let's see if we got oil return. Yep, we have good oil return. got my screwdriver here. Bring that idle down a bit. Wow, it's got really good throttle response. Alright, let's shut the fuel off. Let the bike run till it dies. I'm going to adjust that down just a little more. Brake light is permanently on, so we got a problem with the brake light switch, but it could just be stuck. Alright, it's running out of gas. Alright. Hey, now that's a big win, guys. That's a really big win. I don't know if you can hear everything I was saying over the engine. It's very possible that 5,100 miles on the speedometer could very well be accurate. The engine sounds really good. For it to fire up that easily, you know, that means your timing and everything is good, is spot on, which I didn't check. Sometimes I do. I mean, if I have trouble with one starting, I'll go through that and check the timing. I will check the valves because at 5,000 miles, they need to be checked. So I will check those before I put the bike back together. But that's a big step. It started right up. It ran good, had great throttle response and pickup. Now we'll have to see how it does under load. But honestly, I'm not expecting any problems. So this is a pretty good score, pretty good outcome. I wasn't sure about this knockoff Wassel carburetors. This carburetor, I've never used them in the past. I always use genuine Amels. But you know, I really didn't want to spend almost $400 for an Amel for this particular bike. And the Wassels are about half the price, about $189. They use all Amel parts except for the slide. You have to use Wassel slides, but all the jets and everything are all the same as an Amel. So the only thing I changed was I put a, because according to the manual, this should have had a 200 main jet in it, and it only came, I think, with either a 180 or a 160, so I ordered a 200 while I was at it, and I put the 200 in right away. But we'll have to get it out on a road test and see how it acts, see if it needs more or less jet, and we'll go through the tuning process. But this is super encouraging. I am super happy. I am going to get this bike back together. I'm still waiting on some parts for the gas tank. I need those bungs for the petcocks. They should be coming this weekend, I think. Then I could actually put the gas tank back on. I could plumb in the tank and put gas in the tank. And then I could actually take it down the road and make sure transmission shifts and see how it acts under load. But huge win today. It's a really good hour or so out in the garage. Having setups like this helps a lot. I don't have to worry about cobbling up something together to hold the gas tank up. And these things aren't that expensive. You can get these pretty cheap. Guys make their own and stuff, but for the $100 that it costs me, it's worth it because I use it all the time. Anyway, without further ado, this is it. Bike is running, and I will bring you more content on this when I get the parts for the gas tank, and then I will take you out on a road trip. I do want to give you one sneak peek. A new motorcycle has entered the garage here at Rob's Rides, and I'm super pleased about it. You guys haven't seen all my collection, but I want to show you this. I have a World War II military Harley in my collection already, a WLA. I just recently scored a 1942 World War II BSA WM20. It's a 500cc single cylinder from World War II. It is all original paint, the original markings, everything. This bike is phenomenal, and it even already runs. It's unusual for me to buy a bike that already runs, but I couldn't pass this up. So without further ado, here it is. This is my 1942 BSA WM20 that there will be some future content on. I'll take you over some of the specifics about it in a future video. I will do a test ride. I'll take you guys along for a test ride. But this, I am super happy to finally get this bike. It's a long story, but you know, I got it. It is in my garage, and future content will be coming on this. So this thing here is super cool. You see all the military stuff still semi-readable on the gas tank. Look at that. Look at that speedometer. This bike is such a find. We don't get a lot of these. I haven't seen a lot of these over here in the States. So I'm really happy to have this in my collection. So future videos, all right? So that's it for today. I'm gonna keep this one kind of short and sweet. We'll be back on the 69 BSA when I get some more parts in. In the meantime, you know what I like to say, get out in the garage and work on something.